So it seems like lately Newegg's been on a kick of sending me hard drives. Here's another one. This is the Toshiba Canvio Advanced. So, pretty much standard, things you get these days. Comes with a 2-year warranty, which is pretty good. Most of what we're going to be doing today is kind of unboxing it, taking a look at it, and then I'm going to obviously just run some speed tests on it because that's really what we care about, let's be honest. So the Toshiba Canvio Advance, it comes in 1 terabyte to 3 terabyte sizes, obviously standard 2.5 inch drive. They're Toshiba drives, although I'll have to crack it open to see what it looks like on the inside. Don't know what particular drive is going to be in it. And look for a follow-up video where I actually tear into this. Hopefully I'll have a link to that in the description below by the time you watch this. We'll see. So basically, this particular model is the 1 terabyte drive. It comes in a bunch of colors, so like black and blue and red and white, I believe. And basically that's about all for it. I mean, it comes with some software, which don't really care about. If someone really wants to know about the software, I'll do a video on it, but honestly, I don't know if anybody actually uses the software that comes with these drives. Maybe they do. Obviously, it comes out of the box formatted NTFS. If you're a Mac user, you're going to have to reformat it. And yeah, weighs about 5 and change ounces. So it's actually a pretty light drive, even just holding it here. Obviously, it's USB 3.0, which basically I think everything is these days. And yeah, it comes with both some password protection software and also some backup software. You can see that on the back of the box if you are interested. And yeah, so we're going to crack this open. So, the box, we've got the drive itself, which looks, honestly, it looks pretty, I think it looks really good, personally. Nice, I'm just gonna blind you guys with this on the camera, but basically the front of it is nice and just piano black finished. We have an activity light here in the corner, and I think it looks really good. It's gonna get fingerprints on it like crazy. Look at me printing it up. So that's pretty much standard par for the course. The back of it's nice and flat black. The plastic is, alright. And of course it just comes with the 1 cable. So no Type-C or anything fancy. This is gonna be the old school. If you're familiar with it, it's like Micro Plus, or the Micro USB 3.0, which is basically like a standard micro USB with 4 or 5 extra pins over there. So that plugs in there like that. Ta-da! So that's pretty much it. Other things that come in the box. You have a thing that tells you that this contains lead. So make sure you wash your hands after handling this, okay? Especially if you're pregnant. Make your baby all, I don't know. And then of course something about the warranty and the service center. And in case you don't know how to connect this to a PC, we got that too. So, how does it perform? Don't know, but we'll see how it does right after this.
Alright, so I've had some time to go through all of the other stuff off camera, basically all of the specs and all of the benchmarking and things like that. So the first thing we're going to look at is the actual Crystal Disk Info, which basically is just a utility that we would use for getting a little bit more information about what the drive has stored in its firmware and its software, reporting software, etc. So you can see here, we don't really see what kind of drive is inside it other than it's 5400 RPM drive. At this point, it's only got about 230 power on hours, which would make sense because, basically I've only had it just hooked up to my machine for a couple days. That's about it. And, error rate's pretty low here. We don't really have anything too crazy at the moment. So, yeah, it looks okay. And obviously, we know it's 1 terabyte, blah, 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 blah. But I'll have to crack it open and actually see what kind of drive's inside it later. Of course, next, what we're all kind of concerned about, I'm sure, is that what's actually on the drive when you get it? Well, just some PDFs of the pieces of paper that I showed in the video, and then a software link to go download that software that I said was useless, but maybe somebody actually uses. Yeah, so getting to the actual performance and stuff like that. 137 megabytes a second rather, for basically file transfers. So I just grabbed just a huge amount of large MKVs and MP4s, just transferred them to the drive to see how that would behave, and about 137 megabytes per second, which is, I mean, that's pretty good. I would say that that's probably what you could expect from a 5400 RPM drive, regardless of size and regardless of interface, right? So 5400 RPM drive in a USB 3.0 enclosure, it's actually performed about as well as I would expect it to do connected directly. Although in a later video I might actually crack open this thing and plug the hard drive in directly and see if we have actually any changes in specs for those of you who care. And then of course let's take a look at the Crystal Diskmark scores. So for the small file test, which I did with 50 megabytes, we have, like, once again, about 132 megabytes per second in the writing category and 152 in the read, so those are pretty good, strong scores. For sequential tests, they look pretty good. It's interesting that the read test for the small file is actually relatively high, whereas the write test is obviously low, but I thought it was interesting to see that we had a pretty high read test here. It must mean that the cache is actually relatively large. And then looking at the 32 gigabyte test, so basically the largest test that Crystal Diskmark can do, we had a little bit of improvement from the sequential transfers, although as you notice, these tests are slightly higher than just me transferring files using Windows Explorer, so do with that information what you will. And we actually have the opposite effect down in the random reads and writes categories, where we see that we have extremely slow random reads and slightly faster random writes for the larger files. I'm not really sure what that correlates to. That's kind of an interesting thing. I don't see that too often, but it is here. And that's really about it. Formatted capacity ends up being about 931 gigabytes thereabouts, which is what I would expect for NTFS formatting. Kind of takes away a lot of space. And that's about it. If you have any other questions, comments about this drive, you really want me to crack this thing open, let me know, comment section below. Otherwise, stick around for more videos like this, and if you feel the need to donate to this channel, there are links to do so in the description.